Hello everyone, today I will be playing Roblox Starscape. This game is a very open world type of thing, or if you want to go with open space, because it's more of a space type of game, or sci-fi if you want to put it that way. This game is very choose your own passion, your own choice, your own story in a way, but that's basically the main map for you right there. Now, this is basically what Starscape is about. You go through you go through, as I would like to say, systems, per give or say. This is the map for you. All of this is basically combined into one server, but it's all separate servers. Do you know what I mean? Like, every single dot that you see is one server. And it's hundreds. Maybe even 1,000. I have no idea. Never wanted to check how much there truly were. So, I'll explain the rundown of the map and everything like that. This is the core. This is where basically everything normal will appear and all the basics happen in the core. And next are the 4 factions, as I would like to put it, or the 4 main empires. We have the Falkland Star Empire, the Cavian Mandate, the Linsian Federation, and the Syndicate. Okay. And then, now we have all the systems. There's certain regions of space which are called certain areas, like Beacon, Olivian Expanse, Wildar, Eternity, Arcana, so forth and so more. So much and so forth. Okay, but I'll explain the rundown of every single type of color of a system. All the green ones are systems that you can never die in. The blue ones are basically normal systems that you have a tiny, very tiny chance of dying in. It's not guaranteed that you'll die, but if you're inside of the starter ship, yes, you will die. But that's just how the game is. Okay. Then we go on to the orange systems. Now these are the systems where PvP is enabled. Okay, PvP. There's 2 types of battles, you could say, PvE and PvP. I would assume that you guys know what PvP is, player versus player, and then PvE, which is player versus entity. So in this case, it's players versus players and players versus NPCs, or PvE if you want to put it that way as well. Now then, there's multiple types of all these fucking all of these factions or empires, as you could say, besides, well, I guess the core also. They all have NPC ships that are massive and can obliterate you in a second. Now, I'll explain the rundown of all the ships in just a minute, but we still have some extra systems, the 2 others that we have to get through. Unsecure systems. These are secure core systems, secure systems, and contestant systems, and then we have unsecure. Unsecure systems is where PvP is always going to be enabled, it'll never be turned off, and if you die, you lose your ship. Okay, in the orange and red, you can lose your ship, but it won't be gone forever. Same thing in the blue and green, even though that's very unlikely to happen in these systems. But you can die in these systems. Your ship won't be gone forever, but you will lose anything that you put on that ship, such as modules or turrets. I'll explain that in a second as well. Now we have the purple systems. Now, if you die in one of these systems, your ship is gone forever. You are not getting that thing back, and it is a very unlikely thing to ever happen, but it is possible if you do not have a good enough ship. Now, I recommend you get a ship above a certain class, and I'll explain that in just a second. Okay, we got the map out of the way. That's what I was afraid of, a little. Now then. So, I'll explain the NPCs that are in all the systems right about now. Alright, so in every single system, you can find things called drones and pirates. I would assume that you guys know what that is. Like, drones are like little... How do I put it in this way? drones are the main protagonists of this, so are pirates, but pirates are more unlikely to come by, and you can find drones in almost every single secure system. Pirates are very unlikely to find in unsecure systems, but it isn't, but it is a possibility. Now then, unsecure and contestant, you can find drones pirates anytime, but they are only going up to a certain class. In the wild systems, which are the purple ones, you can find drones and pirates in almost any system you go in. It is a very, very unlikely chance that you will never find a wild or a... No, it's a very unlikely chance that you'll ever find... Okay, it's a very unlikely chance that you'll never find a single drone thing or a pirate thing. I'll explain everything in just a second. This game's very complicated. Now, drones and pirates have certain levels of their homes. Drones go from a drone depot, which is the weakest that it can be, and it's very easy to destroy, a drone foundry, which gets a little bit harder but still easy to destroy inside of a basic ship. And then we go on to a drone factory. Very hard to destroy in a basic ship, and you can die if you don't do it correctly. And then we go on to a drone mega complex, which I would not recommend fighting inside of a basic ship until you have a ship that is for late game. Is when I recommend fighting a mega complex. Now then, so now we go into pirates. Pirates have almost the exact same thing, but instead they go from small, medium to large. Mediums and small, I recommend you fight from a basic ship all the way to like a mediocre or a little bit of an advanced ship than that. I'll explain all the ships in just a minute. And then you go on to a large pirate den, which I would say almost the exact same thing like the mega complex of the drone factory. And I'll link the Starscape wiki fandom if you want to go look at that yourself. But a large pirate den, I would recommend fighting with multiple friends. Fighting with friends, you know, who also have ships that are made for late game, because those ones are very, very hard to kill. And in my time of playing this game, which is about over 250 hours, I've only destroyed like 3 large pirate dens in my time. That's a lot of hours if you think that has been put into this game to just only kill that many. Now then, now we're gonna go into the ships. So, okay, well I guess first I'll go over all the basic stuff here before I go into the ships. We'll get through everything basic and then we'll get to the more important things. Okay, I would assume that you guys know inventory storage. In almost any game there's that, where you have storage and inventory. Then we go into missions. That's almost a basic thing, like quests, where you can get it from certain different places to, you know, do stuff. And then we go into skills. Skills are very complex, if you want to put it that way, or they can be very basic. Now, you can level up your skills in what you want them to be, such as combat, industry, commerce, and exploration. Now then, inside the combat, you can upgrade different turrets like point defense, weapon systems, kinetic turrets, and something like this. Now, I'll explain all the types of turrets right now from the upgrade section. We have energy turrets, such as cannons, ions, and blasters. I'll show you what all those look like in just a minute. Now then, blaster, cannon, and ions do 2 types of damage, which would be shield and hull. Now, if you see the blue bar on the bottom of my screen, that would be shield. And then the red bar would be hull, which is the one thing you never want to lose. You can lose your shield as much as you need, but you never want to lose your hull. That's the last thing you'd want to lose, because if that thing goes to 0, you're dead. Now we go into kinetic turrets. Kinetic turrets, as you would assume, mainly do damage to hull, but energy turrets can also do from hull to shield. So in kinetic turrets we have railguns and coil guns. Coil guns are, let's say, if you just put a standard, minigun per se, on like 2 different segments, and then you start firing it at a ship. That's how you could picture a coil gun, but at a much slower rate and a bigger scale. And then we have railguns, which I would assume that you guys know what that is. It's just a large energy blast to be shot at a direct object. And then we go on to Scrapper, Reclaimer, and Elite Reclaimer. Now these are for when your ships are destroyed. You can upgrade, increase scrap dropped by destroyed ships by 5% per level. That isn't for necessarily when your ship is destroyed, but this is Reclaimer. Increased chance of saving modules when your ship is destroyed by 5% per level. Modules are very important and key to this game. I will explain all those when I get further through. And now we have Elite Reclaimer. Increases save chance for exotic and officer modules by an added 5%. I'll explain that as well, and everything in this game is very complex. And now we have Industry, which is your mining needs, you could say. We have Recycling, Refining, and Mining. Recycling is just when you recycle certain things that you get from killing drones and players and pirates. I'll explain everything, it's very complex. Now we have Refining. Refining goes into many different ores such as Coralite, Reconite, Gallium, and then we go into Advanced Refining, which is Axonite, Narcor, Red Narcor, and Vexium. Now then, I'll tell you what all these ores are right now. Now, Coralite, Reconite, and Gallium are the 3 basic ores made for basically all the basic ships that you can make, and the easiest ones out of the bunch. Then we go on to Advanced Refining, which is when you actually need a lot of ores, such as a lot of these that go into at least the thousands, maybe even 10,000s, that you'll need for certain ships. Now then, you need Axonite. Axonite is like your uncommon ore, and it's a very easy to come by when you're destroying either drone foundries or drone factories, and even mega complexes. Now we have Narcor, which is basically your rare ore that is kind of somewhat hard to come by unless you're destroying higher tier drone and pirate dens and drone factories, you could say. That's how you're going to get a lot of Narcor very quickly, or you can go mining like how I did a long time ago, which is why I have so many hours on this game. And then we go into Red Narcor, which is like your very rare type of ore to come by. It's necessary for massive ships, such as the one I'm in, and I'll explain all the ships in just a second. Red Narcor is very hard to come by, even when destroying, let's say, a mega complex of a drone thing. You can all look that up in the wiki, or I can show you that inside of a later video. Now then we have Vexium, which is, as I would like to say, your like legendary type of ore. It's very, very rare to come by, and it sells on the market at an extreme cost, and I'll show you what the market looks like in just a little bit. Now we go into mining, which is, as I would like to say, your standard mining equipment, such as precision mining, strip mining, and ice mining. I'll explain all the miners right now. Precision mining is if you just want to capture as much ore as physically possible so that you can have it and refine it at a later time. And then we have strip mining. Strip mining will release ore at a rapid rate. If you shoot all of these at a certain, let's say, asteroid, lots of ore will come off, and then you'll use a tractor beam that I'll show you in just a minute that picks up the ore, or you can go into, or that you can put your ship onto the piece of ore and it will go into your inventory. And then we have ice mining. Ice mining is made for comets that release water, and it collects them at a very rapid rate. And now we have mineral extraction. Increases total recoverable storage ore by 1% per level. That is very necessary for precision mining and ice mining, because it helps out these two at a rapid rate. Now we have Comrades. Comrades helps you with hauling, marketing, and negotiations. Now hauling. This is for anybody who likes to do, or as I would like to say, quests for certain factions or empires that need you to haul certain things to one place and back so that you can make money off of it. And certain comrades points such as combat and comrades. Now then, comrades points are very hard to get unless you do missions like that for a long period of time. Hauling helps you with hauling ships that I will show you in just a minute. You can increase your base inventory space, or inventory management or cargo management increases additional inventory space per open cargo slot by 5% per level. Now, if you're inside of a ship such as a massive one that actually has some cargo space, but it's a miner, you can actually use that cargo space for ores in case if your inventory becomes too full. We'll show you that chip in just a minute. Okay, now we have marketing. Now, marketing is something that is the main purpose of this game. I will show you that in just right here. Now, this main system right here, the Citadel, this is where every beginner starts, and that is the main system for selling, buying, and just offering anybody anything. That is the main market. That's where you can buy anything that you need, depends if it's on the market at that very moment. You can put anything that you want on the market yourself, such as what I do, and I'll show you this part as well, which has anything that is very important in this game. Now we have high frequency trading, increases. Can I speak today? Okay, you can read that yourself. I can't speak. High frequency trading really just helps you with marketing as well. And then we have negotiations. Increases credit rewards for faction missions by 5% per level. This is very useful if you're doing hauling missions, because then you can get more and more money and more points. Increases standing rewards for faction missions by 5% per level. This is also very good for doing hauling missions or protecting missions. I'll show you all the missions in a little bit. Now we have exploration. This is from going from system to system to system, as you would go from one system to the other, but making sure that you experience anything that is inside that system at all times, so that you can get enough navigational points or exploration points. Now, I've done that quite a bit, and really the only thing that is there is hacking and probe operation. Now then, for hacking, this is for structures that you can find on ringed planets or non-ringed planets, and I'll show you that in just a little bit, or you can go over to the wiki at this time. Now, hacking is for loot crates that are in those certainty of structures that are locked and you cannot open them freely, and then you'll have to hack to get into that said crate so that you can get the loot from it. Now, if you mess up at least 1 to 3 times, you will be locked out, and then you'll have to wait a certain period of time until it can open back up and you can hack again. Now, you can go into lockout, however the hell you pronounce that word, decreases lockout time from failed hacking attempts by 10% per level. This is very useful for people like me who really suck at doing anything that requires the hacking. And then we have power system knowledge. Gives 10% per level for forgiving mistakes on power system hacking, which is basically you having to increase your chances of not losing that probe when you're hacking into said crate. And now we have probe operation, which is basically make sure the probe duration for scanning by 5% per level. Now this helps for whenever you scan a system by, if you said press Z, you can see probes as a system probe like this that you launch by holding your mouse when you press Z. And then it scans the system as so like this. You can scan planets and then scan for anomalies. That was to be expected. Scan all this if you, well, scan just 2 planets so that you can actually see it. Now, it'll show you what's at those planets, such as planetary abrasions, which are either said for ringed planets, would be, as I would like to say, ore deposits, which are either filled with coralite, reconite, and gallium. Those are the basic ones that you can mine. Oh god. Sorry. And then we go into probe log. Oh no, that's what I already wrote. And now we have probe navigation. Increase probe speed by 5% per level. That is very useful for massive systems that have their planets very spread out. Now we have probe radius. Increases probe signal duration radius by 5% per level. This is very useful for trying to scan valuable anomalies in wild systems that could either be massive ore deposits that are very rare to come by, such as red core, or Vexium deposits, which are excessively rare to come by. Okay, now we go into research. This will be coming soon. It's not fully released yet. you can get a slight peek of what it's going to be like in a little bit. Like, it's just manufacturing time and negative stuff so that you can actually research how to make these things, and then I don't know how that's going to work. Now, we go into career. This is basically just what you are and how much you've done in this game. Now, for factions, you can either become a great ally with them, or a complete naive enemy to them, such as I am with the Cavian Mandate, and almost with the Lencian Federation. Now, to become an enemy, and I do not ever recommend becoming an enemy with a faction, but if you so much wish to fight for a certain faction, such as the Lencian Federation, or Cavian Mandate, or the Forkland Empire, I would say become an enemy for whoever you want to fight, and whoever you want to be associated with, become a member of that empire. And if you want to certainly fight for a faction and destroy other factions, always sign up for their military rankings so that you can then get rewards from that faction. And then I am honestly recommending you to never become an enemy, but if you do enroll in their military, they have a military standing, which you can get clothing, skins, weapons, and ships. Now, ships are the most important part of becoming a military standing with one of these factions. Now, see, from here you can see all the types of ships, such as these two ones right here and this one. Now, from here I can explain some of the ships, such as fighters and interceptors. And then we move on to as well fighters and interceptors right here. And then we go into corvettes, which is your mediocre ship. Then we go into here, your frigate, which is your main ship that you must keep for a very long time in case if you lose a different ship. And then you go on to your big ship, called as the Loxodon for this faction, which is your destroyer class ship, which is the best ship that you can currently get in the game. And there are many destroyers which all have their strengths and weaknesses, and I will show that in all the factions and their military standings. Same thing with here, fighters, corvettes, and frigates, and then we have their destroyer class. Now, the Consolated Destroyer from the Cavian Mandate is a very well-known ship, and a ship that a lot of people want to get, such as what I have done. And I know a lot of friends of mine who actually own this Consolated, just because of how good it is against normal PvP and a little bit against PvE. Now then, now we go into titles, or if you do wish for, I guess I'll show everything else. Fighters, corvettes, and then the frigate and destroyer, sorry. I'm not even an enemy with these guys yet, and you can reset your standing with a certain faction if you want to spend money to do so that you can still go into their main core systems and not be attacked by them. Now, the core sec does not have a military standing because it is one of the main systems that cannot intentionally fight. They do have destroyer and frigate NPCs that will attack you if you somehow attack them and do damage to them, which I have no idea how to do, and I never want any of you to find out. Now, the Syndicate may look like it's attacking system because of the ship blueprints that you can see, but no. Those are considered as hauler ships, which are very useful for hauling missions. Now, this one is mainly, I have no idea about because I'm not even anywhere associated with it. I do have a little bit of points in it, but not too much to make a difference. Now, I would always recommend becoming associate with the Syndicate because it's a very small faction and it's very peacekeeping, you could say. It does have some very, very useful modules that I'll explain in a minute. They're very useful, I can say that. Then we have the Trade Union. Same thing, no military standing, but it is the main trading spot that has a lot of useful things, such as a mining ship and a hauling ship. It's very useful. Every single faction has a certain skin that you can get from it. You can get certain ships from it, such as with these three main ones having mainly attacking ships, and these ones having mainly, or just these two having normal tier class ships such as miners and haulers. Now we go into titles. These are very common to come by killing a certain amount of things and just your average type stuff. Now, since I'm an enemy of the Caveman Mandate, you get the enemy of the Mandate. Or if you are a hero or tier 5 in the Falkland Empire, you can get Falkland Hero. Or Corsac Associate 1, Corsac Ally for tier 3, or Trade Union, such as it goes on and on and on. Now then, I never recommend any of you to become an enemy with a certain faction, but if you do ever see a war happening for a certain faction, I will check if any wars are currently going on. Nope, none are. Now, wars go on for these orange systems that you can see here. Now, Cavian and Lyncian have always been on an ongoing war just in this region. Oh, that looked very strange. I see. So these two factions have been going head to head a lot, and same thing with the Falkland being pushed in by just these two. Falkland has been pushed in all the way past this system here, which is, if you put in perspective, a lot of space claimed by one, and now the one time the Caveman Mandate actually pushed them all the way up to here at one point. But players from certain factions do end up realizing and then taking back certain systems, which are possible every 6 hours once a system is claimable after the faction has taken it. Now then, now we go into shop. I would assume that oh no. So then we have stats such as ships destroyed. It tells you how many things you've killed. Ground kills, that's for actual just standard PvP if you want to do it in a station in an unsecure contestant, such as that. Or you can duel people in either a ship, in a core system, or a secure system, or anywhere you want. I never recommend dueling anyone I never recommend it because either you lose in an unsecure and then they just kill you because you're low, which is a very bad idea, and I very much recommend you not to do it. So then we go into how many things you've killed. I don't know how. I don't understand. Okay. Then we go into systems visited, warp jumps, probes launched. That always resets back to 0 because it doesn't always stay collected anymore. Then we have ores collected, and then asteroids depleted, items crafted, cargo sold, and time played. Now, ores collected is basically for a mining ship, such as, I'll show you all the miners in just a little bit after we get done with this main segment and over here. So, ores collected is for a mining ship, such as certain miners that I will show again. I'm very sorry about this. Then we have asteroids depleted. That is the main point on how to get lots of ore very fast by mining, is by destroying large asteroids in a ringed planet, because they have massive asteroids that are bigger than some destroyer class ships, which are massive. Then we have cargo sold, that's for hauling missions, and then we have time played. I almost have 250 hours. I've played this game very much, and I love the game still. Now we go in shop. This is just cosmetics. If you so much wish to get cosmetics, I will never force you to not get them, because your opinion is your opinion, not mine. So Stardust is something that you can get by logging in every single day. See, you don't even have to play the game, you just have to constantly get in at a consistent time so that you can always get the same amount, which is 5 every single time. Now, this stuff gets pretty expensive very quickly, or if you're so much as going for a certain skin, you can wait for them to be featured on daily deals or weekly deals. Now, this featured bundle never disappears, but if you do wish for one of these to show up, you can wait for them to become on daily deals, or you can just buy them straight up by logging in every single day. Alright, now we have settings, which is your game settings, so that you can change anything that you wish. Home, which is just rental information. Now this is factions. These cost $250,000 to create. Now, the leader can invite anyone that they wish. I've been in this faction for 139 days. I couldn't even remember when I got in it, honestly. And just 30 days after it was originally made by the creator. Now, I have 2 other friends in here, such as him and one other that is a bit lower than me, if I can find him. Invite player, no, that's his invite. Or did he leave? That would have been very unsettling. Yes, he did. Okay, that doesn't matter. Okay. Now we go into here, which is basically just a small squad that you can create for free if you want to have some friends join you inside that squad so that you can know where anyone is in a free range of space. Then we have player tags, which shows your friends who have played this game. Then we have industrial jobs. This is meant if you have anything being made or refining any ores and you are far away so that you can see how much has actually finished when you are inside of a ship, mainly. And now we have combat activity. This is ships destroyed and ships lost. Now, I'm not very much of a PvP type of guy, as to be shown here. I don't like killing many people, it just feels wrong to me. But I have lost plenty of ships in my time. Such as some basic ships killed by NPCs, which is gonna be normal for a bunch of starter players. And then we have lost in whatever, killed by NPC. And I did die by a few players here and there, and some very much as ships I would rather not lose, such as a Ozark, a destroyer class ship. So I've died 3 times inside of a destroyer. Not very good for you to actually do. I would recommend you to stay away from players. If a player ever joins your system, quickly, try to find a secure system or a core system as quick as possible, because it will be your main bet to stay out of their firing range and they cannot hurt you in those systems. I always recommend never dying in a destroyer because it hurts a lot to lose a lot of stuff. Okay, now we go into economic activity, which really just shows your transaction history and market orders, which is what you can have on sale at certain times, which are very useful to have. Now then, so you can sell anything that you so much as wish to sell on the market. And now we have item dictionary. I will go through anything and everything that you guys wish to be said in this video, and I will show you everything that is necessary. So all will show just anything that is here in the game. Then we go to armor. Now, I would say only get armor if you so much as wish to do PvP fights, like on ground type and not inside of a ship. Now we go into blueprints. Now this is for ships, turrets, and miners. You can see just how many ships and turrets are really here and how many you can truly make. Now I'll go through all of the stuff right here. Astro is this ship right here is a hauler. Then we go into a frigate. I would assume that you are a fighter. Interceptor. And now, okay. Hauler, frigate, interceptor, destroyer. We have a corvette here, a miner. You are a fighter. And then we go into, that's basically it for the ships. And you can get hybrid ships such as a hybrid Luminar, which is a fighter, hybrid Paragon, which is an interceptor, a hybrid Polaris, which is a interceptor as well, and then we have one more hybrid ship such as a Claymore, which is a fighter. Those are very hard to come by, and they sell for a lot on the market if you do not have them. And I never recommend buying them straight from the market, but if you have extra cash to spend, like a lot of extra cash to spend, I'd say do it. But that's only if you really want one, just a flex. So really the main reason why people use them is just a flex. Now we have blasters. Medium blasters are meant for destroyer class ships. You can never put them on a frigate or lower. But normal ones like this, you can put on a corvette and higher. These are the standard blasters, or standard turrets, that you can find anywhere. But these are just, the reason why blueprints exist for these, because these are hybrid ones, which are very hard to come by, and I will show you the normal ones right here. Now we have clothing. This is for, I don't know, just random people who just want to wear them. Now this is mainly for if you can get them from certain areas, such as the factions or just normal ones like that. Now we have components. This is mainly just meant for like certain things made for turrets and whatnot, such as the heatsink. Cosmetics are, as you would expect to be cosmetics, quite normal. Now we have deployables, which would either be fireworks for mainly decoration, mines, or if you really want to be rude, and just put down a bunch of mines everywhere. They're very cheap to make. And then we have warp disruptors. These are annoying. They disrupt your warp so that you can never get away from a person who might be trying to kill you. If you ever get stuck by one of these, I feel your pain and it hurts to die by these. Warp disruptors are annoying and very hard to destroy because they have a lot of health. Now we're going to furniture. This is basically the same thing as cosmetics. You can put these inside of a residential station. Oh, he joined me that. Okay, now we're going to modules. Modules are the basics and what keeps your ship alive. We go from weapon systems to subsystems to defense rigs, engine rigs, reactor rigs, and that's about it. Alright, I completely forgot about here. So, spacecraft. This is your starter ship. This is a fighter. I do not own an interceptor. This is a corvette. And we have 2 destroyers that I personally like. And we have a miner, which is a Yukon, which is massive. Almost bigger than a common tier destroyer. Now, this is a Yukon. I don't believe that I have... Oh, there's a tractor beam. This is made for collecting ores very fast when they are being pushed off from the initial thing. Just had to get that out of the way so that you guys knew what this truly was. Okay. Now, certain modules help out certain things, such as engine rigs helping out. Now, we have a bunch of hybrids that are... I really can't explain every single module here. There are hull repairs, shield repairs, hull boosters, hull armor booster. There's way too many to even continue with. There's way too damn many, honestly. Now this is a helping guide thing. And this is a safety log out in case if you're inside of a wild, unsecure, or contestant system. Okay, that's basically it for today. I hope you guys had fun listening to this informational video about this game. I will gladly make a part 2 if you guys so much as want that. I hope you guys have a good day, honestly. And thanks for watching.